as per the usual, we have another exciting artist that Sarah's gonna talk to us about. The name is James Turrell, and he's known for his skyscrape work. He's a very fascinating artist. He's done a lot of really interesting stuff, and he's from LA, but I don't want to say too much. So I'm hoping, is Sarah on now, Jacques, or
Yes.
ready? Hey, Sarah, so over to you to walk us through this fascinating artist of James Turrell.
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. I missed you all last week. It's good to be back. So James Turrell was born in 1943 in Los Angeles to a family of Quakers. And there's a story that he's told of him at 5 or 6 years old, sitting in a Quaker church with his grandma. And everyone closed their eyes at the beginning of the meeting, and he asked his grandma why, and she said, "Just wait, we're going inside to greet the light." And this had a profound effect on Turrell through his upbringing and inspired the kind of artist he became. At 16, he got his pilot's license, and while he was a conscientious objector during the Vietnam War, he did fly U-2 planes for the US to get Buddhist monks out of Chinese-controlled Tibet. And he called it a humanitarian mission, but some think it was a CIA mission. But flying over the Himalayas gave him a great appreciation for how perspective can change how something looks. He went on to study perceptual psychology at Pomona College, as well dabbling in mathematics, geology, and astronomy. He then went on to study studio art at UC Irvine, and after graduating, he rented an old hotel in Santa Monica to be his studio and experimentation space for the next 8 years, which, if you're familiar with Santa Monica, it's in the Main Street area. So let's look at some of his work. So Turrell was inspired by Rothko paintings. And if you remember, we discussed Rothko many weeks ago, but he did color field paintings. So Turrell had only ever seen Rothko paintings through a projector slide in his college lectures, but he loved the glow that the paintings presented. And he was sadly disappointed when he visited New York and saw his first Rothko in person, and to him, it kind of fell flat. The aforementioned glow was absent in the real-life painting. And this made Turrell contemplate the way light interacts with art. And this became another impetus for becoming a light-based artist. So this piece is titled Afram 1, done in 1967 at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, or LACMA. And Turrell takes inspiration from Rothko's color block or color field style, but instead he paints with light. So he takes the color field into the third dimension. So the bright white cube is seemingly floating in midair, but in reality, it's two intersecting beams of light that create a cube by bouncing off the walls. So he created this darkened room with these powerful pointed beams, and it makes it look as if the light is radiating from the cube itself. So we see also how Turrell plays with geometry and perception. This piece is called Apani and was built for the Venice Biennale in 2011, so we're jumping ahead in time. And it plays with the idea of a total loss of depth perception, also known as the Ganzfeld effect. So the viewer enters the space and they see a flat projection of color on one wall, only to be slowly engulfed in color. And then the room kind of slowly shifts to different colors, mimicking a feeling of motion, almost as if the viewer was swimming in light or swimming in the color. And in general, but especially with this piece, Turrell was more interested in viewers' individual experience rather than trying to portray something as the artist for viewers to analyze. So I've included this piece because I know we have some Rice University alumni on the call. And this is called Twilight Epiphany, made in 2012, and is an installation currently at, you guessed it, Rice University. So it was created to enhance the viewer's perception of natural light. So it's a structure on top of a hill, as you can see, with a cutout in the center. And here it is again at night. So this is said to be best experienced at sunset. And Turrell could have created a piece that represents the sunset, but in very Turrell fashion, he decided to use the real sunset and the real natural light and made it more experiential. And this is from directly underneath the structure. And as you can see, Turrell's lights, his artificial manufactured light, plays off the natural light of the space. So I would be remiss not to talk about his Roden Crater project. This is by far Turrell's most ambitious project. It started in the mid-1970s and it's still being made and developed today. So as I mentioned, Turrell had his pilot's license and he spent time flying around the Western US looking for an open space with a high enough elevation to turn into a naked eye observatory. So this is where his studies in astronomy, geology, and art collide. He's excavated and reworked the crater to create areas where the viewer's perception of the horizon and of the sky change. He's built all these different tunnels and structures and openings while playing off the concavity of the crater. And I saw Carla's background mentions this, but a fun fact is that last year, Kanye West visited the site and was so taken with it that he donated $10 million towards the project. Both ASU and LACMA are in a coalition with Turrell for this project, and they made a statement on what's to come as they continue building and developing. So here's what they said. They said, a series of water-filled chambers are coming, fed by underground wells. One 8-foot deep pool will reflect every sunrise. In a light spa complex, bathers will dive under a barrier, emerging outdoors, looking across the horizon. Turrell will also create a brass bath where transducers hooked to a radio telescope will broadcast the sounds of passing planets and the Milky Way underwater. In another space, a visitor will sometimes be able to see his or her shadow with the light of Venus. An amphitheater is on the drawing boards too, as well as a wine cellar. So this is quite going to be, I mean, it already is, as you can see the pictures, it's quite the attraction and they're just going to keep adding to it. Originally, this project was supposed to debut in 2002. And then as Turrell gets more ideas and more funding comes in, the date of release just keeps getting pushed back more and more. So there's still so much to come from this project. And I'm personally really excited to see the finished project. This definitely, I've never been to Arizona, but this would definitely warrant a visit. And this is sort of a culmination or a summary of his work, playing with perception and consciousness with the use of light, but on a cosmic scale. And I also have a YouTube video that LACMA posted of Turrell talking about this project, and it kind of shows videos of the space so you can get a better sense of it rather than just the pictures I have up here. Turrell was part of a generation accustomed to huge advancements in technology and the excitement of the space race. So this, amongst other things, also influenced his work. He went on to win the MacArthur Genius Award in 1984, amongst many other accolades, and has created this kind of transcendent experiential art all throughout the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was awesome. I think we had some questions, right? Let's see here. So somebody wants to know where the place is in Arizona. Isn't that in Flagstaff? Or?
It's outside of Flagstaff, yeah. He wanted it to be really remote.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. What is the approximate dimensions of that eyeball crater we saw?
So he was looking, I'm not sure the exact dimensions. I'll have to get back to you on that, but he was looking for a space, I believe at least 600 feet across.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I'm going to include the link in the chat right now so that you can see a little bit more in depth of the project.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Any other questions? Okay, well, that was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Next week.
Great as always, Sarah.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.